What's up, YouTube? Welcome to the Counting Wisdom Podcast. I wanted to do a quick podcast just as a recap of what we think for pre-trib, what we think the events of the end times are going to be. And then I just wanted to also give a kind of a my thoughts on some of the end times things going on today. So most scholars believe that the next event is the rapture of the church. Things will continue going on as normal, even though we'll see birth pains, meaning different events like earthquakes, like the different things, and as far as the disease outbreak and lawlessness increasing, but all those are just birth pains. And so scholars believe that is what takes place all the way up until the rapture. After the church is taken to heaven without dying, we are going through the 7-year tribulation. Now, not the church. I mean, people that are left on this earth are subject to the different plagues that are happening, the different things that are going on the earth, as far as Revelation chapter 6 through basically 17 and 18. God pretty much pours out his wrath on the earth, and then we get to a time frame where Satan is bound for 1,000 years, and we reign on this earth for 1,000 years. Now, we're not told a whole lot about that time period, but it's basically a preliminary sort of reign of Jesus Christ before we enter into an eternity where we live in God's presence and live in the authority of Jesus Christ and God the Father. And so after the millennium, there's the great white throne judgment. The cities of this earth are destroyed a little bit before that. After the millennium, people are, basically subject to either heaven or hell. So they're judged. Most scholars believe that anyone present at the Great White Throne Judgment is mostly just receiving their sentence to go to the lake of fire. Now, most scholars believe at the rapture, during that time, we would be, experiencing the time where we are given rewards, for what we did for our Christian life and our Christian walk. And then we enter into heaven, and eternity. And so we live forever in the presence of God. And so after that, we are not completely told everything that is going to happen in eternity, obviously. But we live without death, we live without pain, we live without sorrow, and we live in the presence of God for all of eternity. And so I wanted to also just briefly give some of my thoughts on things that are going on today. I think we're just seeing a lot of birth pains. I think that eventually people are going to be saying peace and safety. And then, basically the world gets into the tribulation. But up until that point, I think our life is going to continue on until normal, until the rapture. Now, I think there are certain parts of this world that are sort of breaking down, as part of the, birth pains. I don't think the whole world is going to break down before the rapture or before the tribulation, just because that's how I interpret what Jesus meant when he said, it would be like the days of Noah where they did not know until the flood came. And so there's nothing that will indicate to people that even are not believers that the end times are coming, And so that goes to show that, the birth pains have limited sort of revelation, if you want to put it like that, where, you won't fully be able to tell that the end of the world is coming. It's good to remember that the Bible has already stated that the end of the world is drawing near. And so he says that in Peter, the end of all things is at hand in the book of Peter. And so we just don't know how long it takes for it to play out. And so I think we just have to keep looking up. We keep living our Christian life. We get better at resisting sin, turning away from sin. We get better at living holy, righteous lives, living as a witness for Jesus in these last days. I think, we have to continue on as normal, You have to continue to go to work. You have to continue to, live in light of everything that the Bible talks about. But also, we recognize that, God is doing a work in our lives, and we can't just ignore all the end times and ignore the Bible. And so striking a balance between the two. And so I think that, China may invade Taiwan. I think that, Russia is going to still fight with Ukraine. I think, eventually, we're going to see something lead up to the events of the tribulation. But I think also we're getting closer and closer to the rapture. Now, if there was no rapture, then, yeah, we would, look at end times differently. As far as hunkering down in our house, trying to endure until the end in order to be saved. There's different things that we can do, and I have some videos on that. But thanks so much for checking this out. Hopefully this was helpful to someone. I just wanted to give a brief overview that, we got to continue our work for Jesus until he comes. And so thanks so much, and I will talk to you on the next one. See ya.